The People's Choice, from Mason's Edition, over the hill, Grahamstown, Bain Town, from everywhere they're coming. They're the People's Choice, the Saxon Superstars.
Hello? Who's in the morning?
Boots!
Yeah, y'all thought we was finishing.
FTX Digital Markets has left positive footprints throughout the Bahamas. Today, they continue to make positive impressions with the groundbreaking for their new headquarters. Already, they have employed a good number of Bahamian experts, and they will be hiring even more Bahamians with expertise in this area. The presence of FTX in the Bahamas speaks to our ongoing economic recovery after Hurricane Dorian and the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. In truth, the construction industry significantly helped sustain us during COVID, and the building of the FTX campus with a boutique hotel and commercial space will further stimulate the construction industry. Thanks again to Sam and Ryan and his team for identifying a home in the Bahamas, and consistently creating opportunities for Bahamians.
Bahamas. We are so delighted to host this conference, which brings together many of the most interesting thinkers in the world of crypto. I grew up on an island called Cat Island, one of our country's family violence. When I was running around the beautiful island with bare feet, causing trouble, I already had big dreams for my country, though I can't claim that I was pleasant enough to dream about distributed ledgers and fintech. But I've caught on since, and I believe that crypto innovations are going to have a transformative impact across many industries. I'll say from the start, we may be a small country, but we don't intend to let that limit the scope of our ambition. In fact, our history is one of invention, disruption, resilience, and innovation. Consider as just one of the many examples the establishment of the Pirate Republic in the early 1700s by the infamous Blackbeard and others. Yes, the Republic of Pirates wreaked havoc on trade and shipping in the West Indies. But long the American and French revolutions, these pirates were electing and removing their captives by vote. They also were sharing their treasures equitably and having runaway slaves as crew members. Much later, we took the pioneering steps in tourism. It's easy to forget how risky
says research. You're not supposed to be here. But obviously enormous growth for this space, which has been really, really exciting. I think what I'm most excited about is where we could get over the next 3 to 5 years, where the space could end up, all of the industries that it could end up reshaping, and that it can end up really really improving the way that we do a lot of what we do every day. It's going to be a lot of work to get there, and the last thing that we should be doing as an industry is resting on any of our laurels, or sort of losing sight of what everyone else is doing in the world, because ultimately we need to understand what's going on outside of our industry in order to understand what's going to happen inside of it, just as I think people outside of the industry need to know what's going on inside here, and hopefully this can be a good place for people to learn in both directions. Huge thanks to all of you for coming out. Huge thanks. Maybe it's I didn't do the work putting this together, so someone did, and I think it's that guy more than me. But even more so to both of our teams who made this happen today, and the partners who have been with us. The partners who are joining, incredibly grateful for all the support that we've gotten. Grateful for all of you being here. Hopefully you have a great time. And last thing I'll say is just make what you want of this conference. Don't feel like you have to go to a particular panel if it's not what you're excited about. Don't feel like there's a particular path. Do what's going to be useful and interesting and exciting and new for you. And hopefully you'll come away with a little bit more direction about what you want to be doing with your lives. So thank you.
Awesome, thank you. First of all, I want to thank Sam and the FTX team as well as the SAL team for putting all this stuff together. They did an amazing job, so thank you guys for that. And Sam, I don't know if you know this, but the only people wearing suits are the Bahamian government and the security secretary. Everybody wants to get my Taylor.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. It is always so good to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for your patience as we was going through some little operational technical difficulties there. Thank you. You know what to do when you join, and that is share. Make sure you get the word out. We all know what the situation is. The media is not interested in getting this word out, and so you have to get the word out. You have to do your duty as a Bahamian patriot to get this word out. So make sure you share and you tag those who you can. Have an interesting conversation today. I am sorry we went live with the wrong title. So some people may be confused, but I want you to know that today is going to be about the war for FTX. The war begins, ladies and gentlemen. The war for FTX begins. The United States is in an all-out war with the Bahamas over the assets, the digital assets of FTX. And I don't think it's a war we want to get involved in because we look shady in all of it. Our government looks shady in all of it. And so, well, we're about to see exactly what is going to happen. So thank all of you for tuning in. Let me know where you are from. I just want to say hello. We're broadcasting from around the world, of course, and of course we got a team we got a whole camera team in here today who is getting this done. Bloomberg, who is here with us. So just want to just say hi, hello. Just wait for the camera. So we got all these camera shots going there. You can say hi. And so we are live. And a team from Bloomberg is here doing some great work in the Bahamas. They are watching what's going on and they are broadcasting from the Bahamas. So the whole world is watching and the whole world is interested in what is going on. So we want to thank them for being here with us and making sure that the whole world knows what's going on in Thank you so much for that. You know, they're our producers, our online producers. Thank you so much. The audio is back. So thank you so much for joining us, and please send your stars, and make sure you show appreciation for what is going on, and share this as much as you can. Share this as much as you can. All right. So, all right, perfect. Yes, we are good. So let me know who you are and where you're from. Let me know where you're broadcasting from. Come on. Okay. You see the messages of no sound. Yeah, we're back. Let me know where you're broadcasting from. Uh, Let me know where you're broadcasting from. I know there's a little bit of a delay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we know that you're broadcasting from all over the Bahamas and all over the world. All over the world. Where are you broadcasting from? I see the American flags. Thank you so much. I see the American flags. Marco City is in the house. Brian Serene from Marco City. There you go. Jason Ferguson from TCI, the Turks and Caicos Island. Thank you. Uh, uh, Thank you for tuning in. You are so welcome. It's good to have you here. Freeport is in the house. Diane Smith from Freeport. Uh, what's this? Al Shavin is watching from Canada. Minus 10 degrees Celsius. Oh my God. Listen to me. You stay inside and wrapped up. Shaquille is watching from Nassau. Thank you, Shaquille. Brenda from Marco City. Ivan Petty is watching. Oh, I couldn't see it. Pinewood is in the house. Ann Green. Oh my God, it's going so fast now. Long Island. The Seymours are in Long Island. Okay, I gotta slow this down, Seth, so I can see all of your messages. Uh, Eddie Smith is watching from Abaco. Honey Bun from City of Abaco. Who named their child Honey Bun? um, Someone from Crooked Island. Dawn Gibson is from Crooked Island. Um, oh my God, this is going so fast. Come on, slow down, slow down. Okay, good. We should be able to see it now. We see Mel Bryce from Abaco. Thank you. Darren from Abaco is watching. Dan Gibson from Crooked Island. Starboy is watching from Abaco. Okay, Abaco is in the house today. From Freeport, we have Robert from Freeport. Uh, Kelda Gibson is at Bahamas Air. Thank you, Kelda Gibson. Is that American media outlet? Yes, that's Bloomberg. You should know what Bloomberg is. That's the big business stuff right there. That's the business station, Bloomberg. I get up every morning and tune in to Bloomberg to see what's really going on in the country. All right, so Sean Tinkis from Nassau. Paul Major is watching. Thank you so much, Paul Major. Cable Beach is in the house. Thank you so much, Cable Beach. Has everybody shared? Make sure you're sharing. Clive Gibson is from Freeport. Canada is in the house. Willard from Canada. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. The New Bulls is listening from Freeport. I see Andrew Gilbert is from Cable Beach. Thank you for tuning in. Oh my God, we appreciate all of you. Rico from Freeport, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Henry Morris from is in the house from Grand Bahama. Thank you so much. If I miss any of your names, I'm sorry. It's moving so fast. Carl Harbour is in the house. That's Jamon and Carl Harbour. We have Brunel Ferguson, Pinewood on the Boulevard. Mel Bryce is watching. Awesome. All right. Philip Johnson is watching from Riviera Beach. It sounds like Florida. Inagua is watching. So we're watching from all over the world. So do your civic duty and share. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to get to it. Okay, Barry Islands is here. More from Freeport. Mr. Fixit in Freeport is here. Thank you so much. I got to get to it, all right? Because we can't do this all day. Ladies and gentlemen, our country is again thrust into international embarrassment. Our government again has taken us back down this road. And it seems like every time they come to power, they find a new and creative way to embarrass us internationally. We can go back to the 80s with the drug accusations and the commissions of inquiry. We can go back to Harachi and the Sheik and what happened there. We can go back to the Weissfish brothers and the money and the situation that happened there. We can go back to Peter Nygaard. We can go to John Travolta and the situation that happened there. We can go to Anna Nicole Smith and the international embarrassment that brought us. Every single time this government comes to power, they find a way to embarrass the Bahamian people. And so what it looks like to the international community is that we are a corrupt people. They don't just see the leaders as making a mistake, but if you keep putting the same leaders back in power, the finger points at you. The finger points at all of us because we won't stand up and we won't do something. Every single election cycle, they find a way. They find a way to get into some scheme where they can make money. And they're making lots of money and they're living the dream and they're partying while you are suffering. And we keep repeating this cycle. But I thank God for those of you who are waking up. I thank you because the evolution is in the air and the people want change. Are you one of those people who want change? Well, I hope you are, because I'm about to show you something, some interesting things today. And we'll get to this as fast as we can. I am going to take your calls. I know we have that phone available. We get a phone for you that you can call. But we're going to take your calls, and we're going to hear what you have to say about all of this. All right? Right now, the Bahamas and the U.S. is embroiled in a Cold War. A Cold War over the digital assets of FTX. My Lord. This government has only been in 1 year. My Lord. So I'm going to have to break this down for you so you can understand exactly what is happening. I'm going to touch on the company and how that works and what's really been happening. I'm going to explain whatever you need me to explain to you. Right now, Sam Fried, Sam is living his best life in a $40 million condo on the top floor of the Orchard Building in Albany. He's living his best life. He's accused by the whole world of fraud and all manner of things. But the police have not arrested him. The police here have not even questioned him. Now, the SEC said that the Bahamas Securities Commission have been having some conversations with them, they say. But he's not been taken into custody. His Falcon 7X, his $55 million Falcon 7X airplane that was in the Bahamas, was allowed to fly out of the Bahamas after they said his assets were seized. It went to Argentina, and the last we checked, it was in Germany. Who's moving this plane around, and where is it going, and what is in it? Is the question. Who is allowing this to move? He has another plane that is still here in the Bahamas. It's a Lear jet that is still here, and it's at Jet Nassau. It's at Jet Aviation. It's not at RC, it's at Jet Aviation. That's owned by people known to be associated with the Progressive Labour Party. I don't think they're doing anything wrong. I just thought I would bring that up. We need change, y'all. Something is happening. Something is going on. Now, I'm about to show you the connection between FTX, the Progressive Labour Party, and it seems very suspicious that all of the digital assets was moved to the Bahamas from the global community. What I'm about to show you, if you have a weak heart, you don't want to tune into this. Because our country is being embarrassed. And while the international community is watching, and it's all over this, many Bahamians' head is still in the sand. Somebody needs to take their head out of the sand. Someone says the audio was distorted. All right, let's see what we can do about that. The audio is distorted. Someone said audio interference. Let's try that there. Let's try that first. We're so sorry about that. Make sure it's up first. Oh, okay, that's fine. All right, so let me know if the audio is still distorted. Someone says it's good now. That quick? So I think I know what it was. So we can do it, just make sure I don't. Yeah. All right, so, all right, someone says it's back to normal. Okay, some technical stuff. Good. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm going to start this with a release that was actually put out, by FTX FTX and their new CEO. The new CEO has put a release out, and he's put it out in response to our Securities Commission, and our Securities Commission admitted that they asked SBF to move all of the assets from their company from XTF Global to the Bahamas. If he was always operating with it in FTX Global, which is the main company, and the Bahamas is just a subsidiary, why is it all of a sudden urgent to bring all of this money to the Bahamas? Well, you're going to find out what we have been hearing. And we need the government to confirm this and not put their heads in the sand. I'll wait for it. All right? So, I'm going to start with this. This is FTX. And the new CEO has sent out a message. It's a two-part message he sent out on Twitter. I know this is strange because in the Bahamas, we don't send out official messages on Twitter, but that's what they do. It says exchanges should be aware. They're talking about other Forex exchanges. All right. So FTX was a Forex exchange, and there were other Forex exchanges. Why am I saying Forex? Crypto exchange. There were other crypto exchanges out there. Exchanges should be aware that certain funds transferred from FTX Global and related debtors without authorization and on 11/11/2022 are being transferred to them through intermediate wallets. And so, in other words, the Bahamas is using all these intermediate wallets. They allowed SBF to use all these intermediate wallets to move this money. So the money is in transit. And it says in part 2, exchanges should take all measures to secure these funds to be returned to the bankruptcy estate. They're saying make sure these monies get back to America and where they originated from. This is a warning because something nefarious seems to have happened. My question to our Securities Commission, my question is, did you have authorization to do this? Were your actions illegal? What in law empowered you to do this? I don't think any law empowered you to do this. I'm going to look at the law and see what empowered our Securities Commission to do this, because I can't see it anywhere in the law. And so I'm going to go through it, and you're going to go through it, and we're going to see. And if there was nothing in law empowering them to do this, the Bahamas government is in some serious trouble. And if they did that because the Bahamas government is involved, then we have scandalized our entire nation. So, based on our investigation so far, it appears that there are politically connected persons connected to PLP who are holding on to shares of this company. We are receiving information that we don't have proof of yet, but if you give us our Freedom of Information Act, we don't have to speculate. We are receiving certain information that the Bahamas Treasury has money tied up in all of this. We're receiving information that government officials have money tied up in this. And we want to know if that's the case. We want to know what's going on. Is that the reason you quickly grabbed that money back from overseas and brought it into our jurisdiction that was never here? When I say money, I mean the digital assets. Is that what's going on? Well, we're going to dig deep today, and we're gonna have to find out. And why I said it is because the world is watching. If this were any real nation, the Prime Minister would have already submitted his resignation. I am calling on the Prime Minister to resign immediately because of this scandal. You were the one singing the praises of this company. You knew what was going on. I'm going to share my screen for all of you right now so that you can actually see a refresher course on what's been happening. You can see how all of this is tied up, and you can see what's really going on, because a lot of Bahamians don't really understand what's been happening, and they really want to, and so we got to make sure that you understand this properly so you don't get left out. All right. So just want to break this down all for you again. I'm going to run through this as quickly as possible. All right. So we have all of these companies that is owned uh, by FTX. All right. So if you look here, I don't know why my computer decided to freeze up on me all of a sudden. Okay, here we go. If you look here, these are the FTX companies. Now remember, the Prime Minister said that there is only one FTX company that's regulated in the Bahamas. It seemed to be a bait and switch. It doesn't matter if one company is regulated in the Bahamas. All of these companies are licensed in the Bahamas. Well, these companies were registered in the Bahamas. And if these companies, have the assets, then why aren't you focusing on these companies? If they have FTX property holdings that has, and this is important to notice, because a company named FTX Property Holdings is a part of that bankruptcy, the bankruptcy files case in America. But this is the company that owns all of the properties, and that is FTX Property Holdings. So these are the four companies: FTX Property Holdings, FTX Digital Markets, FTX Ventures Limited, and FTX Markets Bahamas Limited. These are the companies. So it's more than one company. But the problem here is now all of the property assets are in this company. And so you'd remember that I showed you a listing of all of these. All right. So let's see if you can pull that back up for you. If you still have it up, here it is. And so here we can see all of the conveyances that went to FTX went to FTX Property Holdings Limited. There's currently, as far as we know, no seizure of assets, nothing as relates to this. And so these millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars worth of properties are in FTX Holdings Limited. Do you know why people come to town and buy up a lot of properties? Because they're trying to hide money. They want to take money out of the system and hide it. And so if the minute our officials saw certain things, they should have been afraid of money laundering. Who comes to town and buys up a bunch of condos? Not even like keys. Some wealthy foreigners would come and they say, excuse me, I want to buy this key. I want to buy these properties. They came and bought a bunch of condos. When they saw that, they should have known that something was going on, but they didn't. So this is tens of millions, $74 million worth of properties that it appears that they were trying to hide money from this company. Remember, they ran from Hong Kong. And remember, I told you all that a company that's running from Hong Kong and coming to the Bahamas, that's a problem. That is a serious problem. There's reason to be suspicious. And here they are, they came and started immediately putting money in properties. And we also received information that, again, we cannot confirm, but we need the government to answer and to look into this. We're hearing allegations that this crew, SBF, etc., was buying properties and putting it in the name of certain Bahamians. If that is going on, that means that properties are being hidden. To this at Alameda and this company. Alameda Property Holdings is a company that was formed on the 19th of October 2022. Last time we went live, we gave you a date that was incorrect. We said 2022 and it was really 2021 when the latest company was formed. So it wasn't November a few days ago. It was actually November from last year. I just wanted to correct that quickly. But Alameda, they were forming companies here in the Bahamas even in October when they knew that the bottom was about to drop out. That's 2 weeks before they went down. They knew that they were trying to find money from around the world, some 10 to 20 billion dollars they were trying to find to stay solvent. They knew that companies were still being formed. This is another property called a property holdings company. It is clear that something was going on. Why are you forming all these property companies? You're trying to take the money and put them in the assets. And if you look at this, you can see that Alameda and all of these companies were owned by Orion Limited and EOS Limited. EOS Limited is owned by two persons. EOS Limited, let me see, which one is this? Orion Limited is owned by EOS Limited and Clementi Maynard, all right, that we know is from a PLP family. This is from the law firm of Allison, who is a senior PLP member, and we know exactly what's going on here. The directors are Clementi Maynard III, Heather Maynard, and Metered Limited, so a company. EOS Limited is owned by Orion Limited and Clementi Maynard. So these companies own each other, okay? And you can see who the directors are. And so to us, it seems like they were playing a rope-a-dope on poor Sam. Sam actually doesn't seem intelligent to me at all. I all of his speeches. He sounds like he has learning disabilities, to be honest with you. He doesn't seem like he has it all together. If you really sit down and listen to him talk, I'm like, he doesn't sound intelligent. He has to fish for regular words. I don't understand how they listen to this young man and assume that this young man knew what he was doing. I have a serious problem with that. And so we got to get to the bottom of all of this. So these are companies that would form, and it was clear. Remember what we showed you, what we exposed you with the Whitefish brother case and Philip Brave Davis. Remember we exposed that the Whitefish brothers steel magnates that were trying to bring their money into the Bahamas for whatever reason. And Brave Davis, a law firm, was a company that opened their company and in the Bahamas to be able to have all the money in it. But what he did was he put the shares in some persons in his office. All of this was exposed in the news. But in the end, he was holding on to it and he was using it apparently to access the funds from this company. And so the Whitefish brothers wanted their money back. And so Brave Davis offered them some crown land for the money. What we are told is that the Progressive Liberal Party was benefiting from this money. And every time you came to the PLP to get money, they say, go to Brave, he have the money. But it was the Whitefish brothers' money. And so that's where he got the reputation of being nice, because he was allegedly spending the Whitefish brothers' money to be nice. It's easy to be nice with other people's money. And so Philip Brave Davis held on to those shares. We don't know what happened in the end. There was a settlement. We don't know what happened, if they got our crown land or whatever happened. But of course, we have no Freedom of Information Act, so we have to speculate. We're left to speculate. And we have no Freedom of Information Act in our country because our politicians are corrupt. No other reason. That's it, and that's all. And so we see that the same thing that happened to the Whitefish brothers seems to have happened here, because we can't actually find any documentation. We don't know if it was updated later, but based on what we are finding, we couldn't find documentation that shows that Sam actually is on the ownership role of this company, that he has shares in his name. And so this is peculiar. Now, there are companies that when they form, they would put have nominal shares or have a subscriber, and then afterwards you put who the real shareholders are. It's been more than a year since these companies were formed, and so they should have already registered who the real owners are. And if you're going through a regular regulation process, then of course the regulators would want to know who the real shareholders are. And so this should not have been registered in anyone else's name if that is the case, because the regulators would want to say, who are the real owners? We need the KYC on them. We need to know who they are, what's their funding, where they get their money from. We need to know everything about them. And so that's what should have happened. Now, FTX, it seems like there are some other people who have a hand in this. And I can assure you that while they could put the rope-a-dope and the wool over Bahamians' eyes, if the FBI and others are looking into this, we may have government officials who could be implicated if that is the case. Of course, they're smart enough to leave it with politicians who are on the periphery, but we are going to see. It's very curious. Now, I want you to see something else very interesting. I'm going to pull up a document from the Securities Commission. Very interesting. Um, you got to see this. So let me pull it up. And by the way, while I'm saying that, I want to inform all of you that the property that was for sale on the market by Sam is now not on the market anymore. We don't see it on the website. They have pulled it down. And so they've pulled that down off of the market. We don't know why they've pulled it down, maybe all of the exposure, but they have officially pulled it down. And so we are glad that that asset is going to stay here for now. We'll see what happens with it. We'll see what happens. I want to see if FTX was the only company that registered here in the Bahamas. And so I just take the time out to go and look and see what their registration was and who else would have registered. And I wanted to see, if these people seem to have had the same, what do you call it? If they had the same pomp and pageantry, if they seem to operate the same way, or if they just came and did what they had to do and stayed out of the public eye. I wanted to see who else was out there doing this. Who else? Because it couldn't have been only FTX. There are several companies that are operating right now. So why didn't we have all that pomp and pageantry for them? Isn't that a good question? We pull this up for you. There we go. Okay, there it was, right in my face. Let's give it a second to come up. So FTX wasn't the only company that came to be a crypto exchange. There were other companies that came to be a crypto exchange. And I want you to notice the difference with FTX and these other companies. This is going to be extremely interesting. All right, I want you to pay attention to this. All right, this is going to be interesting. So let me just share my screen for you so you can see this. There are several companies that actually is operating in the Bahamas right now as crypto exchanges. But only FTX was going around with these politicians. And only FTX was going around giving out a bunch of money to the police and everyone else. By the way, we heard that FTX was offering money for Christmas parties. For Christmas parties for police stations. Not just the tablets, that he was offering money for Christmas parties. Our police. All right. What you're seeing on the screen is from the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, and it's from the DARE Act registrants. So this is the people registered under the DARE Act. All right, because we're going to get in that act in a minute. Y'all stay focused. FTX Digital Markets Limited is the first company listed, and this is registration information up to the 12th of November, 2022. So before I could have said something different. I don't know. We don't have that, but this was up to the 12th of November, 2022. So they went after this whole thing happened, and they made sure they redid all of their information on here. So because remember the thing happened on 11/11, and on the 12th of November, 2022, that's when it all went down. So here we are. The Viridian. So this is FTX Digital Markets. They're registered. It shows where they're located. Phone number, FTX. It says principals is Sam Bankman-Fried. And it says chairman is Ryan Salome. It says secretary is Danielle Friedberg. Directors are Ryan Salome, Samuel Bankman-Fried. Chief executive officer is Samuel Bankman-Fried. It says compliance officer vacant. Money laundering reporting officer vacant. Now, y'all remember that right there. Put a pin in that and remember that. I repeat that. Compliance officer, none. It says vacant. Money laundering reporting officer, none. Vacant. It's an official document. from the Bahamas Securities Commission. How can you have a company in this field and not have that? I'm going to show you what the other companies have because I have all of them right here. It shows what they're here to do, provision change, etc., etc. Digital assets business, and it says the license is suspended. It says sanctions, none. There's no sanctions on this company. It's strange, because in order to shut them down, you had to have sanctioned them. In order to do anything with them, that's a sanction. So why is it saying no sanction on them? But we'll get to that. All right. Now, other registrations slash licenses held outside of the focus. These are what the security commissions have as other licenses that FTX would have. Watch this. 1. Australia Financial Services License. Entity name IFS Markets Party Limited. Jurisdiction Australia. Okay. Next, license Digital Ledger Technology Provider. Entity name Zubr or ZUBR. Exchange Limited. Jurisdiction Gibraltar. That's it. Doesn't FTX have companies in the United States? Don't they also have a company in Antigua and Barbuda? Isn't there FTX in the USA? So you registered to the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, and the only other companies you listed was Australia and Gibraltar? That sounds like fraudulent information. And this is information from the Securities Commission. Why is the American version, FTX of the US, why is that not listed here? Why is there no connection to that? Why are you running from that? Where's FTX Global? Something wrong. Someone is hiding something. If our Securities Commission knows that there's FTX US and Sam Bankman-Fried whoever applied to the commission and didn't mention FTX US, shouldn't they have said, wait, where's FTX US? Where's all these other 130 plus companies that are licensed somewhere? What's going on here? Something fishy going on. I look at the other companies because you might know. So this is just for information purposes. So again, Dell Chain Limited, and so that's from Dell Tech. That's the Dell Tech, Dell Tech Bank, very reputable bank in the Bahamas. Dell Tech Bank is also doing this, and they call theirs Dell Chain Limited. And so let's look at their information quickly. Principals, they have their Gene Chaplin. They don't have the chairman or the secretary. They have directors, which is John Jovier, Gregory Pepin, Gene Chaplin. Chief Executive Officers Bruno McCauley. Chief Compliance Officer, Shelly Ann Cook. Money Laundering Officer, Shelly Ann Cook. So they have a Chief Compliance Officer and a Money Laundering Officer. How could FTX not have one? Good question. All right. And so then it shows everything else, no sanctions, et cetera, et cetera. The next one registered in the Bahamas is Lionsgate Bahamas. All right. And that is run by Dylan Dean, Ivelyn Kazar, Kim Thompson, Lyndon Michael Dean. All right. Lyndon Michael Dean. That sounds like Lincoln Michael Bean. All right. No relation. And so they have who their chairman are. And again, compliance officer, Lyndon Michael Dean, and money laundering officer, compliance officer, Robin Newton, money laundering officer, Robin Newton. So here we have these other companies that are operating, and they have their compliance officer and money laundering officer. But the company that seems to have been money laundering, we don't see anything as it relates to an officer to control this stuff. All right. And so this is another company here, OKX. Remember, OKX is the second biggest in the world. So there's Binance, is OKX, and then there was FTX. OKX was the second biggest in the world. They're the ones with the real money. They came to the Bahamas. There was no big fanfare. You didn't see the prime minister running up and down behind them. You didn't see them having big flashy parties and going around and giving out a bunch of money to officials and police, doesn't this make you suspicious of FTX and how they operated? The principals are Jin Ling, Adrian Yang, and Ji Jie Hiao. As you can see them on your screen. It shows who their directors are. The members, compliance officer, Gillian Bethel, she's a Bahamian. And also, the chief executive officer is Gillian Bethel. Compliance officer is Ianthe Tynes, and the money laundering officer. Why I showed you this is because all of these companies came here. There was no bribing the police. The other company is Alpacax. Okay, and again, you can see their compliance officers in place. Everything is in place. All right, and that's the last company. So there was no fanfare, no getting to know the politicians and making sure that friends and family were paid off and family and friends got jobs and all of this happening. FTX came acting like a drug dealer that comes to town and tries to pay off everybody, get the police on the payroll, get the neighborhood on the payroll, so that they'll have favor and the people will love them. He came acting like Pablo Escobar. He came acting like Joe Lito. But all of us fell for it. Our government fell for it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to need you to wake up. I'm going to show you another document here. Get this up on the screen for you. I'm going to show you another document. This is from the SEC. Just want y'all to be aware of what's actually happening, what's actually going on. This is what you're looking at on the screen is from the Securities Commission. Now, the Securities Commission. So the Bahamas, say Nassau Bahamas, Thursday the 17th of November 2022. So that's when they put this document out. Thursday the 17th of November 2. They said, on the 12th November 2022, the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, the Commission, in the exercise of its powers as a regulator acting under the authority of an order made by the Supreme Court of the Bahamas, took the action of directing the transfer of all digital assets of the FTX Markets Limited, FTM, to a digital wallet controlled by the Commission for safekeeping. Urgent interim regulatory action was necessary to protect the interests of clients and creditors of FDM. Now, firstly, if y'all did this on the 12th, which was a Saturday, I don't know how you got a Supreme Court action on a Saturday. Or maybe when the date was being made up, you didn't realize that was a Saturday. I don't know. Security Commission is very reputable, and they've not had an issue up to this point. But somehow they got permission to do something on a Saturday in the Bahamas. It's very suspicious. We need our Freedom of Information Act. That's all we want. We don't need y'all telling us anything. We need to see the documents ourselves. Why is it that this happened on the 12th of November, but you didn't tell us about it till the 17th of November after the international community exposed it? Why is that the case? When you're supposed to keep the public aware, one of the rules of the Securities Commission Bahamas under the Securities Industry Act is that you're supposed to keep the public informed. Why is it that you took 5 days to let us know that this took place? It's firstly, it says under the Digital Assets Registration Act 2020, the DARE Act, the Commission has the authority to apply for a judicial order to protect the interests of clients or customers of a registrant of the Commission under the DARE Act. That's what I want you all to show me. It says, not the understanding of the Commission that the FTD is a party to the U.S. Chapter 11 proceedings. In other words, they're saying the Chapter 11 isn't focusing on the Bahamas branch. So they could take the money if they want to, the digital. When I say that, I mean the digital. Over the coming days and weeks, the Commission will engage with other regulators, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right? And so they're saying that under the Digital Registrations Act, 2023, their act, the Commission has authority to apply for judicial order to protect the interests of clients and customers of of uh, of a registrant. Okay, good. Now, what we're gonna let you tell us, we're gonna go to the act because that's just how the Freedom of Information Act would have worked. We're gonna just go for ourselves and read for ourselves. You know why? Because we can read. All right. So we got a bunch of documents up here. Let me go directly to the act. Here we go. I think this should be it. Where are we? Okay, this should be it. So these are the documents that have been filed in the U.S. So we have these, and we're going through these, and we're gonna deal with this at another live. It's dealing with all the vendors, the foreign vendors, all of the debt. So I'm just scrolling through it quickly so you can see it. But we're gonna dive into this another time. Our country is being accused of doing wrongdoing for taking that money. They're accusing us of doing something wrong. And so here's the other document. I'll get to this on another live. Those are the digital signatures. Before I go on, let me just show you this. Let me show you this. These are the list of debtors in possession in U.S. Chapter 11 proceedings. And so this is a list of companies. So this is a list of, this is that 101 that I see here. And I see, look, the Zuber Exchange Limited. Remember we saw that as one of the companies registered that was connected to them. Technology Services Bahamas Limited. So a Bahamian company is a part of this, a part of all of this. Look, a lot of companies are a part of this, including some Bahamian companies. Now, there's another company, see here, FTX Property Holdings Limited. That's a Bahamian company. Remember, that's one of the companies we showed you that owns all of the actual property. FTX is highlighted there, Property Holdings Limited. Wow. FTX Venture Limited is also there. There it is. FTX, number 59, Ventures Limited. Remember, that's one of the companies registered in the Bahamas. So this is curious. So why isn't FTF Digital Markets listed here? All right, this is assets is listed there. Okay, so Alameda Research, all of these companies are listed there. That's interesting. FTX Digital Holdings is there. So these are the debtors. All right. So this is a part of the action, and so this is this is something to pay attention to. All right. But now let's go to the act. Okay? We got to go to the act because they just said some things that make no sense, and we need to know exactly what's going on because we don't need our government embarrassing us again. All right. So where are we? This is the Securities Act. Okay, let's skip over that. And the Securities Commission, the first thing I wanted to know was what gives the Security Commission the right and the power to do what they did? Is it anything that's empowering the Securities Commission to even own a digital wallet? I don't think there's anything. So let's go to section, I think it's section 16 of the Securities Commission Act. Yeah, let's go to section 16. Um, Let's go to section 16. This shows the only funds that they're allowed to even deal with. Look at this. This is the rules of the Securities Commission. All right, this their act. It says funds and resources. So this is where they can get money from. This is the only kind of money that they can transact with. Funds and resources. Now watch this. Subject to section 22, the funds and resources of the commission shall consist of A, all sums provided by Parliament. Okay. All fees and other sums from time to time paid to or received by the commission from its operations. Okay. All sums from time to time borrowed by or advanced to the commission under this part, and all other sums or other property as from time to time may in any manner be lawfully paid to or vested in the commission, whether without or not a. So, someone show me where they can have funds called a digital wallet that they own. Someone help me, please. Show me where they're allowed to have digital currency and a digital wallet as their funds and resources. Anyone? I'll wait. No? This is what empowers them. See, next it talks about their borrowing power. If they don't get the power from the act, they can't do it. Borrowing powers. They can borrow money. There it goes. Advances and guarantees. You see it there. Where do they get the power to? I'm curious about that. So let's go to the actual Dare Act. All right, let's go to the Dare Act. Because it got to be, something in the Dare Act that gives them certain power. All right, let's look at the Dare Act. Now, the Dare Act, that's this beautiful act right here. All right, that's the Dare Act. Now, what happens was this was the Dare Act with the F in place, right? The F number is in place. But this year, the PLP, after they started dealing with Sam, put something else in place. They amended this act. They did an amendment to the act. All right. So if you look here at the government's website, there's the Digital Assets Registered Act 2020, and then they did an amendment in 2022. They did this in May 2022. And they amended the act to make sure that they could do certain things. Now let's see what it is that they wanted to do that was left out of the first act. So we'll start there. All right. So this is the Amendment Act. Now stay with me now. You're getting somewhere. This is the amended act. All right. And it shows the amendment. So Digital Assets Registered Exchanges Amendment Act 2022. What's the amendment? So the important amendment here, they just added a couple of things to this. I don't see where they modernize anything. This is just a bunch of nothing that they should have put in the first act. It shows that government is very incompetent when it comes to this stuff. There's nothing here that's groundbreaking. Now here, they have the ability, the final part of it, to freeze orders. What does this mean? The principal act is amended by the insertion immediately after section 46 of the following new section, 46A, freeze orders. If the commission considers it in the public interest to do so, the commission may, for the administration of digital assets laws or to assist in administration of digital assets legislation of another jurisdiction, by order for a period of not exceeding 5 days. They could freeze assets, but not for more than 5 days. A person having on deposit, under control, or for safekeeping any funds, digital assets, or other property of the person named in the order to hold them. So if the company has other people's funds, that's like a bank holding your funds. They could tell the bank to freeze your funds. So they could tell FTX or any of these companies to freeze someone's fund. That's one. Next, a person not to withdraw any funds, digital assets, or other property from any person having them in the deposit. So they could tell a person they can't withdraw off it, or to hold funds. They could tell a company to hold funds, digital assets, etc., for liquidated, etc. All right, and then the aggrieved person may apply to a judge, etc., to get their money out if something was going on. So this is the right they added to freeze. So that's all they added. This should have been in the first act. Who's writing our laws? But anyway, they have the right to freeze. Now, this is the controversial section. I want to go to it where I think it's 46, where they say that they can take whatever properties and do whatever they want. Basically, that's what they're saying in the best interest of the public. I don't agree that that's what I'm reading. I'm going to take you to it. I don't think that this gives them permission to do it. It says, notwithstanding any other action which may be taken by the commission where there has been a failure to comply with this act, The Commission may impose an administrative sanction for such failure, which sanction may include but not be limited to. So, if someone broke the rules of this DARE Act, right? If they broke the rules of the DARE Act, which the Commission has not told us which one of the rules of the DARE Act they broke. They're saying they're investigating. So, if you're investigating, how do you take this kind of action if you cannot say what it is they did? It says, where there has been a failure to comply with this act. If you investigate it and you don't know what the failure is or what the problem is, then how did you take this big action to seize $477 million worth of digital assets and bring it to the Bahamas? But you're doing it under this section. One, so you didn't show us where they failed anything, but let's continue. They said these are some of the sanctions they could do. One, issue reprimand, banning the registrant from carrying on any services, setting conditions and restrictions, issuing an order to require that the registrant complies, all of this stuff here, prohibiting someone from doing something, all this kind of stuff. But I want to get you down to F. This is what they're talking about. Applying to the court for an order to take such action as the Commission considers necessary to protect the interests of clients or creditors of a registrant. Let me read that whole thing for you. Right? Notwithstanding any other action which may be taken by the Commission, where there has been a failure to comply with this act, the Commission may impose an administrative sanction for such failure, which sanction may include but not be limited to. Let me go straight down. Applying to the court for an order to take such action as the Commission orders necessary to protect the interests of clients or creditors of the registrant. So if there was a breach, they could apply to the court to take such action as the Commission considers necessary. If the Commission found it necessary to go and put a gun to his head and threaten him or to shoot him, could they just do that? The Commission can't do anything that they want to do. That's not saying that. That means within the law and within the act. I don't see anywhere in the DARE Act that authorize or the Securities Industry Act that authorizes the SEC to have digital assets, to take out digital assets and put it in a wallet. I want to know why they thought it important to take that and put it in a wallet that they control. There's nothing here I see saying authorizing them to do that. It's my opinion of what's going on that these public figures are doing. I'm concerned about that because I think that is how the American government feels. There's a concern that the Progressive Liberal Party is too tied into this, and corruption seems to be all tied into this, and that is a serious, serious concern. That's a serious concern. And while we want to defend our nation and we want to defend what's going on, we don't want to defend the wrong of these politicians who keep getting us embarrassed. We don't want to defend that anymore. We're in trouble, Bahamas. We're in trouble. And if we don't take this serious, I don't know what we're going to do. The reputation of this country is in shambles. And it's the same PLP government doing it again. The question is, are you going to continue to allow these people to get rich every time? The same Alison Maynard name calling, the same Jerome Fitzgerald name calling, the same Philip Brave Davis name calling. I can assure you that while the Bahamians can be easily swayed because we just side with our party and whatever our party says we defend it, the Americans who are involved in this, they want justice. They want to find out what really happened. And they want to find out what it is that's really going on. Is our government tied in this? Is Bahamian treasury money tied in this? We want to know. We are being told that this young man, SPF, bought 15 condos in the Wynn building. We want someone to confirm that. That's what we're being told. 15. We're being told that he bought 2 condos on Paradise Island. And they're being bought in people's names. We got to fix this. The Prime Minister, and I'm talking to you under threat from the Prime Minister because he said tread lightly. That's his threat. So that means, listen, watch what you say. So that's like when the Catholic priest molested us, and then people say, oh, you better tread lightly. Why? Because you're going to ruin the reputation of the church. Touch not God's anointed. And so we let our little boys get raped and molested and continue because we were worried about the reputation of the church. No, it was the reputation of those evil priests that they were trying to protect. No, Brave wants us to tread lightly because he's worried about the reputation of the PLP, not of the Bahamas. If they cared about the reputation of the Bahamas, they would have done their due diligence, but they didn't do that. If they cared about the reputation of the Bahamas, they would not have let this boy come here and bribed all and sundry. If they care about the reputation of the Bahamas, they will admit where they were wrong and they will apologize and move forward. I'm calling on the international community. There are things happening that you don't know and don't understand. We need your help with this. This is a serious matter. Our politicians keep embarrassing us. We want a country that is free from corruption. We are tired of the corruption, but we cannot do this alone. As you have recently seen, we went to Parliament, me as a leader of a political party, I went to Parliament with a bill to deliver to members of Parliament. Police officers were sicked on me and they dragged me in the Parliament Square because we wanted to do our civic duty. Our constitutional rights were violated as we delivered those documents to Parliament. We have leadership in this country that is silencing their own people. Silencing their own people. They are silencing the media. We are on the cuffs of a totalitarian state. The media was silenced. The media was bribed. When we can't speak our own mind, we are in trouble. We are very close to America. And if Sam Bankman-Fried could come here so easily and money launder, who else can come here so easily and do it? Let me say this to you. You saw the same thing happened when the leader of the opposition, Michael Pinta, tried to go to the Prime Minister's office the other day. They blocked him off. How could you block the leader of Her Majesty's Royal Opposition from delivering a letter to the Prime Minister? To the entire international community, we have a government in charge of the Bahamas that is corrupt. And we are ready to stand up. We are ready to put in place a government that will not bribe American companies when they come to this country. We will get rid of corruption. We will end it once and for all. The all for me baby era will end. All for me baby was the talk of politician Clement Maynard, and his daughter is the one who is the lawyer for FTX. All for me baby. That was a clarion call for corrupt politicians. Let me tell you how serious this is. And you may not be realizing how serious this is, but the international community is watching. This is how serious this is. They are believed, SBS and FTX is believed to be accused of money laundering. And they believe that all of these properties are the proceeds of crime. All of these condos, et cetera, it is proceeds of crime and money laundering. Because if he did fraud and he brought the money here and he's taking money and buying properties with it, that's money laundering. That is clear as day. So if he took the proceeds of crime and bought tablets for the police and gave money to the police and money to government ministries and money to politicians, then that means the police participated in money laundering. How is this same police going to arrest this man accused of money laundering when the commissioner of police himself received the proceeds of crime? The SEC deals with the DARE Act and they deal with the Security Commission. The police deals with money laundering, proceeds of crime, fraud, etc. If you believe that he was money laundering, then why haven't the police even questioned him yet? Last I heard, the commissioner of police said that the police has not questioned him and the police has not arrested him. If you're investigating, the first thing you should do is take him into custody and find out what's going on. It is now the 20th. This thing broke from the 5th. This is 15 days later, and the police have not even taken this gentleman into custody just for questioning. You could let him go. They dare not touch him. All of this gives the impression of political influence to the public and the world. We need change. We need change fast. This is corruption to the highest level. I have a lot more I need to touch on with this FTX thing. I have a lot more I need to touch on with that, but I can't get to all of it today. I really want to thank Bloomberg for the work that they are doing in this country. A lot of international media are here. A lot of them are here, and I want to thank them for coming and putting real eyes on this. There's deceitfulness happening. The international media is being told stuff like, "Oh, the Bahamas government has him in. They're supervising him." There's no law that allows anyone to be supervised. That's not our law. I was a police officer for 10 years, as Bahamians would know. There's no law that allows us to supervise anyone. We don't babysit people. It's either you're locked up or you're not locked up. If we're investigating you and watching you, then we're investigating you and watching you. But there's no law anywhere for the SEC or for the police to supervise anyone. They're saying that to make the world comfortable, to feel like, oh, we're watching him. Our law doesn't allow for that. He can do what he wants. No one is supervising him. All of these things, when you put them together, and I want to answer your questions because the stuff that you may not understand, I'm going to open the phone lines. Can you get me a phone, please? I'm going to open the phone lines so that you can call in and give your piece on this. And I can answer your questions on what you might not understand. I had some people who asked me some very interesting questions as I walk the streets. Thank you. And so you can call me, the number today, because the number I had to change. We get this number for you. The number is 577-4158. It's on the screen for you, 577-4158. Come on, call in and let us know how you feel about this. If you don't understand something, this is your chance to hear what is going on. If you don't understand what is happening, this is your chance. So call in and find out what's going on. If there's anything that you want the international community to hear about, just hold this. If there's anything you want the international community to know, please, this is your chance to speak to them. All right. So someone says, yeah, the smoke and mirrors. Yes, it is smoke and mirrors. We are fed up with it. There's a lot of tricks going on, and we got to fix this, and we're going to fix this today. And we're going to have to fix this with the help of the international community because our government is corrupt. What they did to me, it's just to me, my little untrained opinion. If Scotiabank ends up in a scandal, that's like the Bahamas, and that's Scotiabank International. That's like the Bahamas saying we're going to take all the assets of Scotiabank International and make them bring it to the Bahamas because they're in trouble. What is that? How does that work? Yes, he's operating from here, but he's operating all around the world. How does it work? Ladies and gentlemen, we need change. All right, call us in. 577-4158. 577-4158. 577-4158. Call in with your questions. We are wrapped up in the scandal, and the rest of the world. Someone says audio. Everyone's audio again. The sound is speeding up. They're messing with your live again. We don't know why that's happening. Okay. Hopefully they're messing with the live. Okay. Let's see how we can fix that. We can switch the audio on there. Okay. Someone says it's better. Okay, someone says it's better. Let's see what happens. Oh, they said it's fixed. Okay, it's working now. If not, we'll just switch because we have different devices on different internets, so we could avoid that problem. All right, call in. Somebody call in. 577-4158. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I see y'all on here cussing them out. You're calling them with pissy swines. Oh my God. You can't call your good Christian government those things. All right? They're good, decent government that loves all Bahamians, and they're doing everything for us to benefit from our natural resources. I want to say this. If there's anyone who worked for FTX, I see the phone going off. If there's anyone who works for FTX, who works for them, who want to speak to the international community, please get in contact with me. We got to expose this thing. We got to let the world know what's going on. I'm going to go to the phone lines. Good afternoon, you're live.
Hello, how you doing, Lincoln?
I am awesome. How you doing?
I'm doing great. My question is simple, man. I've been hearing rumors that they actually were trying to use our carbon credits due to this FTX company. Is that true?
Yes, it is very true. The government had announced that they were taking all of our carbon credits that we would be getting, and they were turning it over to FTX. This is what the new bill that they recently tabled in the House of Assembly, where they got rid of our sovereign wealth fund. They took away our opportunity to benefit from our sovereign wealth fund. They ended that in front of all Bahamians, and no one took to the streets. They took away our sovereign wealth fund, and they did a national investment fund, which means that they could turn over all of our natural resources, our carbon credits, etc., to a private company to have part ownership in it, or to have ownership in it, to make it legal. And that is what they was using to turn over our carbon credits to Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. And Sam Bankman-Fried was using that as an opportunity to get our carbon credits as an asset to prop up his fake company, because the assets he had was tokens that he created that were fake and had no value to it. And so everything you heard the government talking about was coming from Sam Bankman-Fried. All of these things that they were announcing, all of this big hoorah and this big, we're going to go to carbon credits, it was from Sam. And that is, remember, we were telling you, we were asking you, why is it that they are not going to mandatory carbon credits all right, which is a different system. They're going to voluntary carbon credits, which is a cowboy town, wild west. There's no accountability, and you can do whatever you want. Now we're finding out why that is the route the government chose. Because Sam is the one who probably told them to go in that direction so that he could rape and rob this industry. Why is it that Sam was getting in from the carbon credits? 51 plus more. 80% from the carbon credits.
So did they actually get to do it, or they didn't get to do it all?
The bill was tabled. It was not yet passed. And we have to pray that this bill is not passed.
Thank you, Jesus.
This is listen to me. God save this nation. God exposed this whole thing because of what Philip Brave Davis, that evil flying Philip, did, was trying to do to this country. They plan on continuing. They're going to find another company another way because they have already counted this money. They've already counted this money.
If they had done that with them, they would have just ruined the whole Bahamas for next 50 years.
Yes. They would have ruined the Bahamas. They would have put it in place so that if they lost the election, and there would be a punishment clause where they say you got to pay $1 billion or $10 billion if you don't go through with it, something ridiculous. But let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you this now. In the New Bahamas, when we take over this country for the Bahamian people, not the first government for the Bahamian people, I don't care what agreement they pass. I don't care what evil and odious agreement they pass. Those agreements will be thrown in the garbage. Anything that doesn't benefit the Bahamian people, anything that is corrupt and that benefits these political cronies is going in the garbage.
Wow.
Thank you for your call. We appreciate it, man. It's a good question. But please call in 557-4158. Thank you for that question. It's something I should have touched on. We need to send these politicians to jail. They've embarrassed us for far too long. Enough is enough. And we're going to stand up. Let me tell you something. Someone asked me, how do you clean this place up? How do you stop this and stuff like this? The Bahamas will no longer be a country that benefits from hiding dirty money. People say, why you keep getting blacklisted? We're getting blacklisted because our second industry is hiding dirty money. That's what we do. And then we had the Prime Minister go to the United Nations and say, we're being blacklisted because we're a black nation. No, we're being blacklisted because we're a slack nation. We're a corrupt nation where the whole world knows you can come here and pay off politicians and get whatever you want. We are known for this. This is our problem. We want to fix this nation. Someone said his name is Sam Bankman Fraud. Good afternoon, you're live.
Good night, President Bain.
Thank you.
What do you think it would take to wake up the Bahamian public to what you're saying, sanctions against the Bahamas, where it would be like the Euphrates River drying up for everybody to wake up and see what's going on, because you're trying your best. Thank you, Mr. Bain.
Thank you. Well, every revolution starts with education. It starts with education. First, we had to inform the people. We had to educate them. We had to tell them what's going on. And in doing that, that's how the change is going to come. Man, I listened to this young. Let's look at this. Look at this again. I know. I played this to you, right? But look at this again, man. Listen to this young man and tell me tell me when he says something intelligent. Tell me what impressed our government about him. Listen.
But obviously in our spirit for this space, which has been really, really exciting. I think what I'm most excited about is where we could get over the next 3 to 5 years, where the space could end up, all of the industries that it could end up reshaping, and that it can end up really really improving the way that we do a lot of what we do every day. It's going to be a lot of work to get there. And the last thing that we should be doing as an industry is resting on any of our laurels, or sort of losing sight of what everyone else is doing in the world, because ultimately we need to understand what's going on outside of our industry in order to understand what's going to happen inside of it. Just as I think people outside of the industry need to know what's going on inside here, and I spend probably more than half my time thinking about nowadays, and I'm shuttling back and forth between here in DC.
Here is Sam talking about regulations and bad-mouthing regulations. He went to Congress and he talked well about regulations. Now he's bad-mouthing regulations. I don't get it. Here he is. Watch this.
Every week or two, and basically, like, if you look at what the state of regulation is in many jurisdictions, including in the United States today, there are a lot of cases where, the prevailing attitude is that you need a license in order to operate a business, but it's not clear there exists a license that you could.
He said the prevailing attitude is that you need a license to do business. He seems to have a problem with that. Listen.
You could sort of like say, well, why don't they then issue, license or something like that? And obviously, why are we here? One of the big reasons that the Bain government actually took the lead on doing that, but there's a lot of differences that maybe aren't always fundamental differences. Some of these, there's like clear analogs to traditional finance, right? Instead of talking about the board of directors of a company, you might talk about on-chain governance. But the regulations might not have a clear pathway for registering an asset that has those differences. Like it just doesn't quite fit. And you could totally imagine a system with the same principles that did. But if that's not there today, I mean, it's not there today, mostly.
So why isn't it there today?
Well, I think why it's not there is because mostly regulators think of crypto and all applications having to do with crypto as financial use cases. And I think one of the things that we spend a lot of our time trying to do is explain that only a fraction of crypto are financial use cases. There's a whole other world out there for Web3 and crypto that has nothing.
That's what they made you. Bain paid thousands of dollars. That's the conference, the crypto conference, that they made you pay thousands of dollars to attend. Did you learn anything just now? Anything? Tell me what you learned. Tell me what you learned. What did you learn? Because that whole thing was a waste of time. It was a bunch of show and empty. Like this entire progressive liberal party government. We need to throw the whole government in the garbage. Because that's all they're worth. Every time, it's about finding some criminal-minded person to take bribes from and to suck from, and they make their money. Embarrass us, and they don't care, because you're going to forget by the next time they want to run. And you can put them right back in. That's why they do it. Someone says he sounds like a 5-year-old kid. Call us in, 557-4158. 557-4158 is the number. All right. Good afternoon, you're live. Good afternoon, you're live.
I'm really trying to understand from a law perspective regarding an application made. You said something about the court and that they have to make an application to the court, and you said that that didn't happen. I'm trying to understand.
No. They are saying that they made an application to the court. What I'm saying to you is, in my opinion, that the law says that where the DARE Act was breached, they can make an application to the court to do certain things. What I'm saying is they have not said whether their act was breached, and they said they're still investigating. They've not said anything. And so how do you seize this and seize that, and you bring money from global into the Bahamas? You've not shown where anything was done yet. On top of that, it doesn't say that you can take money and put it into a wallet, because how does the Securities Commission of the Bahamas have a wallet? There's nothing in the law that empowers them to have a wallet. Whose wallet is this? Because they're not allowed to do money in digital currency according to the act. I showed you section 16 of their act. They're not allowed to have digital currencies. Nothing empowers them to have it.
Actually, you read it, but we couldn't see it. You read it, but we couldn't see it.
Okay.
I was trying to make reference to that.
Yes.
Also, something you had said about the application was made on the 11th of 2022, but the next day, I think, the 12th, it crashed, right?
The 12th was a Saturday.
Is that right? Yeah.
Say it again. I couldn't hear you.
So it crashed.
Oh, yes, it crashed. On the 11th.
22, they made an application. And then the 12th, it crashed. That's a Saturday, right?
No. On the 11th, they filed for bankruptcy, all right, in the United States. On the 12th, the Bain government is saying that they got permission from the court to tell Sam Bankman-Fried to bring all of his digital assets into the Bahamas. Well, into a wallet that the Bahamas government controls. Now, all Bahamas, wait, this is important. This is important. Listen to this. The Bahamas government is only allowed to hold funds in the consolidated fund. The Bahamas government, I don't see any law where we are allowed to own a digital wallet, a crypto wallet. All of the Bahamas government's fund is supposed to be in the consolidated fund. The Securities Commission, I don't see anything empowering them to have a wallet. So the question is, whose wallet is this? The problem is, we don't have a Freedom of Information Act. Is this some political crony's wallet? That's the question.
Yeah, that's the big question. And the question is, do we have courts on Saturday? Because obviously we don't have courts on Saturday.
No, we don't have courts on Saturday, so I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happened because we don't have courts on Saturday. But thank you for your call.
This is a lot. This is a lot for the Bahamians to digest because we cannot take any more disappointment in the Bahamas right now. This is not a good look for us.
No, it isn't.
Horrible.
Thank you for your call. I appreciate it. 577-4158, 577-4158. And so we still have questions about what you're seeing on the screen. We received information and we're trying to verify this, that Sam Bankman-Fried bought some condos in the building that you're looking at. And that is the Wynn building, that he bought some condos in that. And we want to know if that is true. But of course, the portal where you can get certain information about properties has gone down. These are some more documents, and I'm going to get to these on Tuesday. This is the bankruptcy filing in America of FTX. And so we're going to get to this. We want you to see exactly what's going on and what they're saying about the Bahamas, and they're accusing us of some things. As the situation became increasingly dire, Sullivan and Cromwell and Alvarez and Marshall were engaged to provide restructuring advice and services to the debtors. On November 10, 2022, the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, the SCB, took action to freeze assets of non-debtor FTX Digital Markets Limited, a service provider to FTX Trading Limited. So in other words, the way FTX is set up is FTX Digital Markets is set up as a service provider to FTX Trading Limited. So let me tell you how some of these big companies, and it's not illegal, how they operate. So Google, for example, Alphabet, they would in order to reduce their taxes, they would form their company in America, then they would form another company in Bermuda, for example, and then form another company in Ireland. And those companies would be a service provider to the American one, so that they have to funnel their money out because you pay taxes on profit. Okay? And so they would pay whatever company outside of the country, and that's how they get to keep their money out, but still in their company. And so that's some of the things that they do. Now, Digital Markets Limited is a service provider of FTX Trading, which is the American company. If they are just a service provider, how can you then take all the digital assets and put it in the service provider and take it out of the main company? Something is going on. So Digital Markets service provider of FTX Trading and the employer of certain current and former executives and staff in the Bahamas. Brian Sims Casey was appointed as provisional liquidator of Digital Markets Limited on a sealed record. The provisional liquidator for the Bahamas subsidiary has filed seeking recognition for provisional liquidation proceedings, etc., etc. Now we get to all this stuff on Tuesday, but I wanted you to see that our country is being thoroughly embarrassed. You know who these people are? The Maynards. The PLP dynasty. The PLP dynasty. That can... Lord, when we be tired. Oh, that's your prime minister vacationing on your money. What I want you to see is love. Look how they're looking in each other's eyes. That's love, man. That's love. For Brave, it wasn't love of the young man. It was love of the money that they were sucking from him. That's love. Look at how he's looking, and it's so deep in his eyes. And Sam Bankman-Fried is looking at Brave Davis and saying, this is a sucker. But he didn't know that he was the one getting swindled by these politicians who know how to do it. Arachi was a victim. Peter Dygard was evil, but he was also a victim of the PLP. He was a bad guy. They just called. Good afternoon, you're live.
Hi, Mr. Bain.
Hi.
I just want you to tell the Bahamian public in plain straight out, what would be the outcome what would be the Bahamas' position, or what would happen to us if the fallout of this is not good on our government's behalf? Thank you.
In plain English, the reputation of our country is in shadows. It would be hard for legitimate investors, foreign investors, to want to do business with us. We could be subject to more blacklists. We're not properly regulated. It shows that our politicians are slack. There's no bigger currency in the world than trust. The whole world operates on trust. The whole world. You go to a particular company and do business with them because you trust them. You buy an iPhone because you trust it. You keep your money in a bank because you trust it. You trade on the stock market because you trust the market. You buy a stock because you trust it. Who is going to trust the Bahamas after this? Clearly, a 12-year-old would know that if this foreigner comes here and they start buying up all of these properties all of a sudden, just like that, something is going on. He's trying to hide something in the Bahamas. Someone told him you come to the Bahamas and get away with anything. Just pay off these politicians. But everyone just chose to get what they could get. Now, if there's Bahamians who agreed to hold on to property for him, they could be in serious legal trouble. If any of our politicians are connected to this situation, we could have politicians in legal trouble. Our government could be sanctioned if they're involved in this. If it is found out, and let me tell you something, they do proper investigations. They're not like us. If it is found out that our treasury money is involved in this and decisions were being made because of corruption and not in the best interests of the world, that's going to be a serious problem. We need change. And y'all are going to have to bring the change. Before we go, I just wanted to touch on something for y'all. We just had a boatload of people that came in from Haiti dressed in white and saying they come in peace. They come in peace. They come in peace. Illegal immigrants just okay, let's switch devices. Let's get the sound on there. Okay, everyone is saying no sound, no sound. Okay, we know. One sec. Ooh, just touch the thing right there. Some of the sound is back. Okay, they said it before they touched it. Hold on one sec. Hold on. Okay, I have the sound now. But they said sound was back. I don't know what happened, y'all. Can you hear me? Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. Sound is back. Okay, hopefully it's backed up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know I went long today. I want to say thank you to all of the international media who are in our country, and they are taking good care of us and watching what's going on in this country and overseeing, because we have a corrupt government that is in power right now, and they are abusing very own Bahamians. And we're headed to the UN to make certain complaints, and you're going to see that very soon. And we just need change. We're tired and we're fed up. We're tired. If you have information, if you work for FTX, you got to save this country. Whatever you know, you got to get out there. One of the former employees of FTX informed me that the Treasury money was involved in this. I can't confirm what they're saying, but we're going to investigate. Good afternoon, you're live. Last call we're going to take.
Good night, Mr. Bain. They just want to say something to the day before.
Yes.
You know, I'm a Jamaican, and then you know for about 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
The same people that are your life, right? And then fight on there all day long, talk about how the BSB doing it for the FNB. Let me tell you something, Mr. Bain. If you see this happening in Jamaica, and the people in other man like you stand up and fight for the people, we would have been all over this. You understand? Jamaican people need a man like you to fight for them. So I'm calling out to the Indian people. Stand up, fight for your country. Because if this country is lost, then you all would have nothing to left for your
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that. I appreciate I love Jamaica, but I love the Bahamas. It's the only country I love, the only country I'm interested in. And yeah, we need some strong people to stand up, some really strong people. Remember, we're having a cookout, fundraiser cookout for the COI, and it's only $15. You're hearing these prices at $30 and $40 all over the place. It's only $15 in New Providence, $10 in Grand Bahama for your Thanksgiving feast. It's called Gather the Feast. So make sure you are here, get your tickets. You can come all week. They're going to be in here all week from 11 to 5, and you can come and get your tickets for that. And it's on Thursday actually. Thanksgiving is on Thursday. Wow, the year is gone. This year just started and it's gone. Oh, I just said the last call, but someone else called. I think okay, they're gone. Okay, I would have taken the last call, but I think it's done. All right. We also want to say a very, very special happy birthday to a very, very special lady, and that's Miss Daphne Johnson. Miss Daphne Johnson, we want to say that we love you, you're special, we appreciate you, and a very special happy birthday. I feel like it was just yesterday I was at Fusion celebrating birthday with you on top of the edge, partying all night with you. So another year is gone. Ladies and gentlemen, time is flying. I really didn't intend to go 2 hours today, but we ended up doing it. There's so much to talk about. I want to thank all of you for being a part of this. Come and get cookout tickets. You got to support the movement. You got to fund the movement. We got to get this going out. And so there's some things that we have to do. We're going to go live again on Tuesday with an update. Our country's in trouble. We need you. We need you. This is not a battle that I can win. This is a battle that we must win. We must win this together. We must win this together. Our entire system is compromised. Our entire system, every level, the executive, the legislature, probably the judiciary, is compromised. The system isn't working like it should. We need change, or we're in trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. I just want to say again, thank you to our team from Bloomberg who was there. Y'all can say hi one more time. Hard-working people, get the pose. All of our hard-working people, you can just wave to the camera. They're here. And if you have any information, anything you want to share, please call me, 803-5995. If you work for that wicked company, please call me and let me know. We got to know what's happening. So I've gotten some calls where people are afraid. They just want to give the information. But if you want to talk to them, they're willing to just take the information and deal with it however you can. But we need help on this. All right? We need help on this. And so we got to get this out there. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to leave you with some messages, some videos, as I always do, because we need to change. And if we don't do something, we're in trouble. In love. He and I got 2.0. Hacking political leaders. Being vindictive to political leaders. Investing and dragging political leaders before yes, that's it for very arrested for unlawful family. Obstructing parliamentarians from entering the House of Assembly, and there's something else. One more thing. No, I didn't say it right. I don't remember. Whatever it is, ladies and gentlemen, we need a free country. We need a free country. So I'm going to leave you with a little message, all the way from Nigeria. Just so you know, we're on top of this, but the Prime Minister just signed a memorandum of understanding with African bank. What's the purpose of that? We need to be the lender, not the borrower. We're going to benefit from our natural resources. We've had enough. Stand with me and come with me to a new Bahamas, where we will benefit from our natural resources and we will wipe the tear from every eye of every Bahamian. We will struggle no more because what we have belongs to us. I believe in the Bahamas where Bahamians will be first. Bahamians are first. And it's about us. And we will partner with the international community. And we will bribe them. We will not bribe them for anything. We will not ask them for anything. They will come to our country, they will partner with us. They will do business, we will do business. We will all do business in a country that is clean and corruption comes to an end. I say to the United States of America, are you all tired yet? Have you all had enough yet? You all have been going back and forward. Cuban minister told him he was going to get rid of corruption. You all gave him $1.5 million to help him to fight the corruption. He was the corrupt one. Now you all let Brave get in there? How did you all allow that? We need your help. This is your doorstep. We want to put a government there that is clean and that wants to transform this country for the world. That's it. And that's all. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. See you on Tuesday at 8 p.m. where we're going to finish this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a little message for y'all, all the way from Nigeria. As our government is accused of unlawfully removing funds, and a war has begun. But all of those exchanges that is rerouting the digital assets that our government told them to bring in, that they are being warned to not do it. How did we get here? Ladies and gentlemen, see you next time.
You know, a lot of people wonder how Dubai became a very big, famous, and rich city.
You see, if you're comparing with Nigeria, listen to this. Nigeria has oil before than Dubai. It's a history. They are more rich than us. They have agriculture, they have mining, they have everything, you name it, they have it. Am I right or wrong? When you have a true leadership, which we have nothing, but we have everything because we have the right leadership. That's the only thing you need, a right leader for your country, not corruption. That's what brings your country at the top. You don't need anything. We want water, we don't have agriculture, we don't have mining.
That's quite interesting.
And that's Sheikh Mohammed. Number one, he doesn't know number two, he needs only number one. He says, I don't know, there's no number two in my book. Only number one.
I hear he doesn't ride in the convoy.
I don't know how you did this in 50 years. You look at history. Who does this? Show me anybody else that has done this in 50 years. I'm waiting. Show them to me. This wasn't done by money. Money doesn't produce visions. Visions produce money. You've had leadership over here that were visionaries, great visionaries, and their vision was more about the people than the money, because you can't accomplish this in 50 years without loving your people first, because the people are the ones that's benefiting from this. Look at your health care, look at your road system, look at your highway system, look at your airports. Who does this in 50 years? But who benefits? You're going to care about those people. It's something to be learned about what's been done over here that could be duplicated in the world, because there's people with this much money. You just don't have people with this much love for their people.
"50 years, bad roads. 50 years, same hospital. 50 years, nothing works. bad electricity. 50 years, and we've gone backwards. 50 years, look at Bay Street. 50 years, look at Freeport, Grand Bahama. 50 years, look at us. 50 years, we've gone backwards, not forwards.